Aston Villa have made history yet again in the Champions League, this time by beating Bayern Munich by 1-0. Sound familiar? In this video we're going to be breaking down what Aston Villa did so well to get such a brilliant result against one of Europe's elite. The blueprint for this game was always going to be very different to what Aston Villa are used to doing against other opposition in the Premier League or even in their most recent match in the Champions League. The threat that Bayern Munich posed not only from a possessional based point of view but also from a pressing point of view means that Aston Villa needed to do one thing, and that was relinquish the ball. Bayern Munich have averaged 70% possession in both the Champions League and the Bundesliga this season. They've scored a hatful of goals, and that means that Aston Villa needed to change tact. They needed to make themselves defensively resolute. Setting up in their 4-4-2 formation and really giving the ball up to Bayern Munich was the only way that they were going to be able to progress through the match without giving up either A, too much energy, or B, getting themselves out of position with some strange pressing or some lazy tackles. And the threat that Bayern Munich posed on a number of occasions really did cause some problems. Joshua Kimmich dropped back into something of a back three next to Upamecano and Kim. Alphonso Davies moved forwards, and that allowed Konrad Laimer to move forwards at the same time. And what this did is it posed a number of threats across Aston Villa's back line. In maintaining Alphonso Davies and Gnabry out on these far sides, it meant that Aston Villa's back four was stretched. A compensating factor in the two wingers having to come back and cover these runs meant that Aston Villa needed to be a little bit more defensive. But it was the blocking off of the central areas between Tielemans, Onana, Diego Carlos and Pau Torres that meant that Harry Kane was not able to get on the ball. Michael Olise found himself dropping back a little bit deeper to mix with Pavlovic and Kimmich, and already you could see Aston Villa's game plan start to work. It was then about trying to transition and counter-attack. Can Ollie Watkins get onto Upamecano? Can Morgan Rogers be able to take the ball and drive with it? Before they were able to do that, though, it was all about the defensive prowess of the side, making sure that they were patient, making sure that they waited for their opportunity, and making sure that they were able to stop the space from being played within their own box that they created and just in front of their penalty area. Defensively, they were fantastic, and this back four need to be given a lot of credit because the defensive solidity of the side was nearly flawless. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is a perfect example of the defensive shape that Aston Villa took. So you've got your back four here. You've then also got your midfield four. And of course, you've got your two strikers. Now, one thing to really note here is the space, or the lack of space, between the midfielders and the defenders. Look how high Aston Villa have pushed up their line, and look how far back they are to try and condense the space. This meant a couple of things. Look, Michael Olise is struggling to really get any space. Konrad Laimer moving up ahead of Joshua Kimmich because Kimmich wants to dictate play. And then you're looking at the wide areas. Look at how tight-knit they are. They're trying to get round the side, but they can drop deeper, Aston Villa, if they ever need to. This was a perfect defensive display, and then it was a matter of trying to hurt Bayern Munich on the counter-attack, on the transition. And that's exactly what they managed to do on a couple of occasions. Bayern Munich, for all of their attacking prowess and their real aggressive nature, will give you a chance. And they give you a chance due to their man-marking nature. Because of the way that they want to go forwards and the way that they want to press, they opted to press and be defensive in a man-marking style. It means that one defender goes onto one player, one defender goes onto one player, and it's all about winning your duels, winning your 1v1s. Now, what this does in favour for Aston Villa is it means that Ollie Watkins has a 1v1 with Upamecano. It means that Morgan Rogers could have a 1v1 with Kim, and all of a sudden, you've got two strikers onto two defenders. And this is exactly what Aston Villa are on, especially with the pace and the prowess of Ollie Watkins and Morgan Rogers. And later on, obviously, we see John Duran. But it was in taking this and in having Ollie Watkins go up against Upamecano that they got some joy. They got some benefit from having that 1v1 nature, being able to spin him behind, and then it was about going direct. Can Pau Torres find Ollie Watkins? Can Martinez find Ollie Watkins? It was all about exploiting the space in behind this Bayern defence to try and not only stop Neuer from coming out as a sweeper keeper, but also to try and take advantage of these two centre-backs. Because Bayern Munich want to be so aggressive, because they want to be so attacking, it was all about taking the space in behind, and that is something that they managed to do pretty well. Let me show you a couple of examples of this. So, we have Yuri Tielemans, who's currently on the ball. He's scanning for a pass, and he's about to play it. But just look at the aggression from this man-marking system that Bayern Munich are implementing. Konrad Laimer has moved out from his right-back role and decided to press the ball. And this is down to that man-marking system, the man-marking press that Bayern wanted to utilise. But it has its failings because of the ball that Yuri Tielemans is about to play. And this is exactly what happens. You've got a 1v1 situation with Ollie Watkins and Upamecano, who was able to get the better of Upamecano in this particular scenario. Another thing I wanted to notice is look at Kim. Look at the distance between Kim and Upamecano. These are your two centre-backs. Kim was actually pinned onto Morgan Rogers. Again, taking advantage of that man-marking system. In dropping Rogers a little bit deeper, it allows Watkins to go the other way. And all of a sudden, you're spreading that back line. Look at the difference. Here's the three players. Here's Upamecano. The difference is incredible. And then it was all about whether it was a foul or not. I don't think it particularly was in that scenario, but it's just brilliant play from Aston Villa to try and take advantage of that particular scenario. Let's take a look at another one as well. So you got Martinez with the ball right here, and he's going to go very direct. But again, look how aggressive Laimer is. Look how touch tight they are. Elise onto Tielemans. You've got Pavlovic up onto Onana. You've got Kane ready as well. It's all so very dangerous. In this particular scenario, you've got Gnabry pressing Martinez, who decides to go long, and he does it pretty brilliantly. Now, I want to just stop it in this particular moment here, because I want to try just to look at this. Look at how well Ollie Watkins does. Look how well he does him backing into Upamecano. He's just trying to muscle him, trying to pin him down, and that gets Aston Villa up the pitch, and this happened time after time again. Again, you're looking at the space in behind this Bayern Munich line. You're looking at the ability for Aston Villa to go direct instead of trying to play through the lines. And just, I wanted to highlight this as well. Look at the way he turns. This moment right here. We can take it back a touch as well because I think it's really important. Look at the way he manages just to turn his body. So he's got his back to him and then instantly he's turned and he's away. He's able to spin round, and this is a trait that is so valuable for Aston Villa in this particular scenario because it not only causes chaos for Bayern Munich, but it gets Aston Villa up the pitch. You might get a foul, you might get a bit of breathing time, and it's so crucial. It's also perfectly done by Ollie Watkins. It's a proper striker's moment, it's a proper striker's movement, and he gets fouled by Upamecano, and it causes absolute havoc. It's fouled, and you could argue whether it should have been more than a yellow for this particular infringement. Could Ollie Watkins have been an own goal? That's the question. That's the question. But it was brilliant centre-forward play. Before we wrap up, let's of course take a look at that winning goal. The goal from John Duran, but it starts with Emi Martinez with the ball, and he just passes it over to Pau Torres, who is able to then look up. And I want to take a moment just to take a look at the Aston Villa players when they're in their moment, because he does take a good look, and it's this look that I think begins the attack. It's this look that I think begins the momentum for Aston Villa in this particular moment. And once he takes it, he's then able to find John Duran. We're going to look at a different angle later on to really find out how he sees it and the amount of space that Duran was in. But he's about to play the pass, and it's a brilliantly weighted pass through into John Duran, who is already on the move. Now, a couple of things we need to notice here. Like how high this Bayern Munich line is. It's so incredibly high. And if I just zoom in, you can see what I mean. John Duran already beating Upamecano here in this particular scenario. Look at the space here as well. But also, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 Aston Villa players all willing to make that run in beyond. And it was something that was a telltale sign of the way that Aston Villa wanted to play in this match. The ability to run into the space. The willingness to really take that initiative. You've got the 2 holding centre midfielders and then the wingers who did a fantastic job, but also the strikers just to stretch the play a little bit and take that momentum, take that advantage. It continues, and you've got John Duran, who I think takes a little look here. I think he looks over his shoulder and sees an oncoming Manuel Neuer, and just look at him right here. It's just off your screen for the moment. Look at him, he's just out of the box. He's come to sweep, and he did this on a number of occasions in the match. He managed to save Bayern Munich on a couple of times, but in this particular scenario, he doesn't. And John Duran decides to go for goal. I don't even know how many yards out that is, but the audacity and the ambition and the belief in himself to be able to take that shot and just lift it over Manuel Neuer is nothing short of amazing, outrageous, crazy. There are so many superlatives that you could use just to put it over him. It's incredible. I want to take a look at a different moment as well, just a different angle. Here's Pau Torres, he's about to play that pass, and just look at the space here between Upamecano and Lima. Now this is fairly normal, but I'd argue it's a little bit too far. And just look at the spin that John Duran has been able to really get round Upamecano. The ball's about to get played round, and then we're just going to play this on, move this on just a second. It's in the air, and you've got John Duran who's paying attention to the ball, and I think I've caught the moment where he takes a look. So if you just move this on here, look here. He takes a look and he sees Neuer. I'm sure of it. I'm sure he just looks over his shoulder for a second and he sees the Bayern Munich keeper right here. And he thinks, I can have a go here. I can have a go. And he shoots with his left foot. It's incredible just to lob it over the keeper. It's absolutely fantastic. It is a world-class finish. It is unbelievable. And the fact that he's able to come on to make a difference as a substitute is exemplary. It is fantastic. Look at Neuer stretching for that as well. He can't get it. It goes in the net and it is fantastic. And what a job he has done. He has turned Aston Villa into a side that now comes back and beats Bayern Munich. He's working wonders at Aston Villa. But what I want to know is what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Have we got any Villa fans? Let me know how you're feeling, what you thought of the game, and obviously what you think of the result. I would love to hear from you, so please do get involved in the comment section below. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something new, and I hope to see you in the next one. But until then, my friends, take care.